We'll start with the prayers. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We have finished Panchadasi chapter 5. And today what I want to do is three things. Number one, I want to give you a summary of the chapters which we have covered so far, which is chapter 3, 4, 5 and chapter 10, 4 chapters. Then I want to explain to you roughly what I will be doing after this, which is chapter 1 and chapter 2. So basically, I will give you 6 chapters of Panchadasi, a bird's eye view. Then I want to explain that there have been a lot of questions about the website, Vedanta students' website, what is there in the content, and a lot of questions were there, and people wanted me to explain how to use the website. So I thought maybe I'll spend some time today in explaining the website. If possible, I will try to open it up and show it to you. The third aspect is the meditation. If time permits, I will do the meditation in the end. Otherwise, we will skip the meditation, depending on the time. So these are the 3 things I have in mind today. I will start with the summary of the chapters which we have covered so far. We have covered 4 chapters. In the order of chapter 10, we covered first. Then we did chapter 3, 4, and 5. Then I'm planning to take, when I return from the small break, when I come back, I will do chapter 1 and chapter 2. So this is the tentative program which I have. And so today we will have a bird's eye view of these chapters. 2 + 4, 6 chapters. See, Panchadasi is written by a Swami who is called as Swami Vidyaranya. And he is Acharya, Advaita Acharya of recent times. Recent means about 800,000 years, roughly about 1,000 years ago. So this author is very well known for his critical thinking of the bhashyams of Shankaracharya, and also he also has a very beautiful presentation style. And most of his chapters are all with reference to how can I realize this truth. So he deals a lot with the human mind. So his analysis is primarily on the structure of the human mind, the vrittis, the thoughts, the theory of knowledge, and so on. And study of these chapters helps us in dwelling on the scriptures in a very deep way. He has also written and authored Anubhuti Prakasha, which I have taken in the Saturday classes. Again, verses which are related, which are for the commentary of Upanishads. So he has written several verses trying to explain in his own way the truth. When we study the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, or we study the Brahma Sutra, we get a direct knowledge of the scriptures. But sometimes we find obstacles in our understanding. These obstacles are mainly because we have not prepared our mind. See, most of us, we just come into Vedanta just by just hearsay, some friend recommends us. So we don't go through a very formal, structured style of learning. And in a normal college or a ashram where they teach this Vidya, Brahma Vidya, they go through a very systematic study. They will teach Tattva Bodha, Atma Bodha, some preliminary text, and then they will do the Bhagavad Gita, and then they will do the Upanishads, and then ultimately they will do the Brahma Sutra. It's a very structured way of teaching, and a lot of time, of course, is involved in those type of classes. Because students get enrolled for a full day program. Right from morning 5:30 onwards till 8 o'clock, there are programs which are there for the students. For this Brahma Vidya, it's normally a 2-year course. And very popular schools in India are run by Chinmaya Mission and also from Arsha Vidya in Coimbatore. Very popular amongst the Vedantic students. These two schools, they teach a proper methodology, systematic method by which you can get the essence of the scriptures. So now with this small introduction to Swami Vidyaranya, I will go into chapter 10, which we did first. Before, when we started Panchadasi, I have already covered Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads and Brahma Sutras in the past with several students who have been regularly attending for the last 8-10 years. So that is the reason why I started Panchadasi. It's a new text. So the 10th chapter is a very popular chapter. It's called Nataka Deepa Prakarana. The lamp of the theater. The background to this is that consciousness is compared to the light which illumines the stage of a theater. Suppose there's a drama going on and there is a light which is continuously there. Whatever happens in the stage is not affected, it's not affecting the light. Similarly, consciousness is always there. Whether there is a waking state, dream state, sleep state, consciousness is always there. So the comparison is very, very apt, and I thought that will be a good introduction to Panchadasi, because in several Upanishads, this nature of our nature of consciousness is very well explained. Especially in Brahadanika Upanishad, there is a Swayam Jyoti Brahmana which deals with this same topic of Nataka Deepa Prakarana. Then even in Bhagavad Gita, you find several verses. Katha Upanishad also, we find several verses, all talking about the light, the illuminating, the knowing factor of consciousness, which is different than the Jada Vastu. See, Jada means it is inert. What makes the difference between you, me, and a stone is that we are all aware of our surrounding. We are aware of the body, we are aware of the surrounding, and we are always, this awareness is called as consciousness. And in the scriptures, what they say is, especially in Keno Upanishad Bhashyam, Shankaracharya brings this point so beautifully. He says that it's a very simple thing. Consciousness is a very simple thing. We are not attempting to know something which is not already known. all of us have the experience of consciousness. And this experience of consciousness is mixed up with our experience of the body, mind, and the world. The attempt of Vedanta is to separate the body, mind, and the world and consciousness. This is the basic attempt of all our study. We all say, I am conscious. All of us. Every moment from our birth to death, we say we are conscious, I am conscious, you are conscious. Every morning you say, I get up, I say, I am a conscious person, I'm a conscious being. When we say that word, I am conscious, I am stands for the consciousness part. The speaking, the words, the I am is, if you suppose you stop with that, then that is what is called as separating the consciousness. For saying I am conscious, you need the mind. Without the mind, you cannot utter a single word. So consciousness is always there, but it is mixed up with the body. Whenever you say I am conscious, you're always giving your experience with the body. What Vedanta says is, body is incidental, mind is incidental, but I am portion, that consciousness portion is eternal. This is how Shankaracharya brings out his bhashyam, his commentary. Very, very deep commentary. I mean, I have never seen such a deep commentary of Shankaracharya on Upanishads. So Kena Upanishad has got, in 2 or 3 places, he goes into extreme depth. And at the same time, he brings out the truth in a very simple way. Very, very simple way. Everybody can understand. There's no complication at all when you read the commentary of Shankaracharya's bhashyams. In other places, there could be some confusions, reasoning and all that. But suddenly, he will bring out the truth in such a simple way. Every intellect will understand that consciousness is not something which has to be experienced at a particular time. That is the basic mistake we all commit. I will experience consciousness in meditation. I will experience that in samadhi state. I will experience, it is a future event. It is a moksha is a future event. So all those confusions are removed when we study this chapter 10. Nataka Deepa Prakaranam. Jivatma realizes 2 states of Atma. With jnanam of mithya universe, which afflicts body and mind, with jnanam of absence of universe and its own existence as Satchidananda Atma. See how beautiful the chapter is. What it simply means is, I will give you 2 technical terms to understand this. Nirupadika Atma is one type of Atma. Nirupadi. I have not put that here, but I want to explain that because this is the term which he uses in Keno Bhashyam, and it is very simple. When a person knows his Atma or her Atma as without any Upadi. Upadi means what? Medium. Body is a medium. Mind is a medium. But you drop this body and mind. And what happens then? we say that I know this Atma, I am this Atma, which is Nirguna Atma, and I am experiencing a world which is Mithya universe. This is where the difference comes for a jnani. Mithya universe means what? There is an experience of the world, but it is a seeming experience like a dream. Dream is a seeming experience for all of us. Similarly, waking is also a seeming experience. That is what Vidyaranya is trying to say in this chapter. This is one aspect of understanding the Kutastha Atma. Kutastha Atma means what? Changeless Atma. What is the second way of expression, this Kutastha Atma? Or how do I realize this Atma? So first is clear. Without any upadhi, I experience myself. Whatever that experience is Kutastha Atma. The second is, with jnanam of absence of universe and its own existence as Satchidananda Atma. You see what happens in sleep. There is absence of universe. And one doesn't know that one is Satchidananda also. In the first case, one knows that I am Satyam, Jagat is Mithya. In the second case, I don't experience the world at all. I don't experience myself also. So when I understand Atma in these two expressions, then I understand the reality of my own existence. Okay? Light on a stage is compared to Chaitanya Swarupa of Atma. Atma, how does it express? It expresses as Chaitanya. Chaitanya means this is the nature, Swarupa. And what is the Swarupam? I am always there. Evident. It's always self-evident. I am conscious. I am conscious. Has the experience of one's consciousness ever goes away from oneself? No. What goes away is the appearance of the body and mind. This point, it should be very clear. This is a very subtle point. If you pick up this point, you have understood Vedanta. This is how Shankaracharya's commentaries, they help. See, what he says is, always evident consciousness is my nature. Always evident. It is always there. Pick up this point first, because then you'll be able to separate the body mind which coming and going from this consciousness. If your intellect is able to separate these two, then you have understood Vedanta. I am eternally conscious. What about the waking state, dream state, sleep state? They are not eternal. They are incidental. Like what? For example, a drama going on in the stage. All the actors, they vacate the stage when you say during interval. They come, they perform, they go off the stage, and again they come back. Similarly, what happens? The waking stage comes, it goes off in the dream state, it goes off in the sleep state. Then the dream state comes. In the dream state, there is no waking, no sleep. Then the sleep state comes, in which there is no waking, no dream. But in all these states, what is common? The common element is I am a conscious being. I'm not talking about a male or a female or, male, female is all to do with the body. I am a very bright person. I'm a dull person. My intellect is not picking up. All that is to do with the mind. I'm not talking of the mind also. I'm talking of the pure light, the pure expression of all of us. And this expression, once you come to know in the waking state through the scriptures, if you are able to pick up this difference between body, mind, appearing, disappearing, manifesting, unmanifesting, and invariable component of Sakshi Chaitanya, which is always present in all the three avasthas, then you have understood what Veda is trying to teach you regarding your Swarupa. See how deep it is. In 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I have given you the gist of the whole chapter 10 and I've tried to bring out the consciousness aspect, separate them from the three states, which belong to the mind. When the mind is there, you have experienced this different world, dream world, waking world, no world. These are all the three states of the mind. Don't confuse it with the consciousness element. In chapter 10, there are 5 topics, totally 26 verses, and 5 topics. Verses 1 to 5, I'm just revising, yeah. All those who have attended Panchadasi before, for all these 4 chapters, this is just a revision because today I'm taking a revision exercise just for you to remember what you have learned before, because after 4 or 5 weeks, I'll be taking the first chapter, the new chapter which I'll be teaching. So verse number 1 to 5 of chapter 10, which is called as Deepa Prakaranam, Nataka Deepa Prakaranam, it gives an introduction to Jivatma and Paramatma Swarupa. First 5 verses of the 10th chapter. And it gives us the it gives us an introduction. And it says that one should inquire. There is a necessity for inquiry about who we are. Because I consider myself as the body, I consider Ishvara as the Paramatma, the creator. I don't understand the difference between me and Ishvara. And what should the inquiry be? The inquiry should be on 5 factors. What are the 5 factors is explained from verse number 6 to 10. The first thing I should know is, who is the knower in this body? See, you say, I know this body. But who is the knower of this body? That is the first factor. And that is called as Pramata. Second is called as Pramanam. By which instrument do I know this body? Through the mind, through the sense organs. Second factor, what is the instrument of knowing? First is the subject. Who is the knower? What is the third aspect? The third aspect is, what is the object of knowledge? For every knowing, there is an object of knowledge, which is in Sanskrit called as Prameyam. See, this is what I meant by Swami Vidyaranya's teaching side. Straight away he goes to the knowledge aspect, theory of knowledge. How does knowledge happen in our intellect? For that knowledge to come, what are the factors? The knower is involved, the knowing instrument is involved, the object of knowing is involved. Then comes the process of knowing. What is the process in which we all know this body or the world? The process is called as vritti parinama, modification of thoughts in the mind. That is what is knowledge. When I'm seeing a rose flower, there is an impression created in the mind of a rose, a red rose. Suppose I get a white rose, impression in my mind is the white rose color. It travels through the eyes, it goes and forms an impression in the mind. That impression in the mind is called as vritti, and that is what is called as knowing process. Okay, so far is clear. 4 factors is clear. Very simple. For any knowledge, these 4 factors are required. The 5th factor is known only through the Veda. What does the Veda say? Veda says that there is not only one knower, which is the ego I in this body, but there is a sakshi for that ego I, which is called as witness. And that sakshi is called as Paramatma. Understand these words very clearly. Jivatma, Paramatma. What is the Jivatma? That Pramata. What is the Paramatma? The witness. And where is that witness? The witness is housed in this body only. In this body only, there are both staying together, Paramatma and Jiva. See how deep is this inquiry. It is all to do with our mind. So when we study Panchadasi, I have to be extremely alert. What is the process of teaching? What are they teaching me? Is there something beyond the jiva in this body? Yes, there is. That is what is called as sakshi. That sakshi is the ultimate revelation of the Veda. And what does the Veda teach us? What does the Upanishad teach us? It tells us this Pramata, which is experiencer of the world, is none other than the Sakshi. That is what we did in the 5th chapter of Panchadasi. There is oneness between Jivatma and Parma. How do I know this? Only through with the study of Upanishads. And what is the benefit I get out of this? The benefit I get out of this knowledge is I get moksha, freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from samsara. Okay, so that is from verse number 6 to 10. Next, the 3rd topic, 11 to 15. Here, the emphasis is on the example. What is the example? The example is the stage, the orchestra, the light, the people who are playing in the orchestra, who is the audience. Everything is explained in this verses 11 to 15 so that we can compare a stage with the knowing process which happens in the mind. There is a king. That king is nothing but the ultimate Paramatma. Then there is orchestra playing. Orchestra is playing. There is an audience. What is the orchestra? What is the audience? The full details are given. I'm not going to those details. I'm just giving you a rough indication how they reveal this truth in the chapter. Sakshi reveals the pramata. Without Sakshi, there is no pramata. Very important point in Vedanta. Then only you will strike the oneness between Jivatma and Paramatma. It is the Sakshi which reveals the pramata. Once the pramata is born, what happens? Pramanam, Prameyam, and the process of the vrittis, they go on. The Sakshi is a Chaitanyam sentient principle, whereas the body-mind is a Jada Tattvam. That is explained in the fourth topic, which is from 16 to 23. There is no other factor in the entire creation which can know the world. Understand this line. Knowingness is a unique factor in all of us, which is called as awareness. Awareing body, mind, the objects of awareness will change. But the awareness, the content of the universe, which is awareness, never changes. And this awareness does not participate in the Vyavahara. This is another unique point in Vedanta. Consciousness is a principle like the sunlight. It just remains and the whole Vyavahara takes place in the Jagrata Avastha. It is nirakara. It is formless. It is formless, therefore it is changeless. Changeless means nirvikara. Nirakara means formless. Nirvikara means changeless. Okay, so these are the attributes of this Sakshi. The attributes of the Sakshi are explained so that we can remove our notion about we being the body or mind. And the fifth section is from verse 24 to 26, Guru Sishya Samvada. How to know this consciousness? Only through a dialogue with the Guru. In most of the Upanishads, you will find there is a Guru mentioned and there is a Sishya mentioned. And there is a dialogue happening between the two. When the dialogue happens, what happens to the student is he drops the notion that I am the body and he claims that he is the Sakshi Chaitanya. So in this, what do we understand totally? In this 10th chapter, what is brought about is the nature of our true self. I know I am the body, but that is not the true self. It is not the truth. It is not an absolute truth. It is a relative truth. We are all having names. I am Vijay, I am Bhuvai, I am so-and-so, I am Hema, I am Vijaya, so-and-so. All these are names only for the body. What is common to all of us? Consciousness. Okay, so that is chapter 10. Then we did chapter 3, Panchakosha Viveka Prakaranam. Very beautiful chapter. So the previous chapter, chapter 10, and this the 10th chapter, is linked to one section, one section in Vedantic Upanishad called as Swayam Jyoti Brahmanam. Okay, that is a connection between Upanishad and the 10th chapter. This third chapter is a connection between Taittiriya Upanishad and chapter 3. Very beautifully, Vidyaranya brings out the same what we discuss in Taittiriya Upanishad. He brings it out beautifully in 3 broad sections. What are the 3 broad sections? This, first of all, you should understand there are 43 verses in this chapter. 43 verses are divided into 3 sections, 10 verses, 16 verses, and 7 verses. The first 10 verses, they talk about the 5 sheets. What are the 5 sheets which we have studied in the Tattva Bodha? Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. And what about Atma? Atma is beyond these 5 koshas. When I drop the identification with these 5 koshas, I am just pure consciousness. See how Vidyaranya brings out the same consciousness which he discussed in chapter 10. He is bringing the same topic again in chapter 3. One good thing about Panchadasi is each of these chapters can be studied independently. There is no, you don't have to study in a particular order. You can choose because each one is unique. So in the first 10 verses of chapter 3, he says that self is not the Pancha Koshas. Then from 11 to 36, which is about 25 verses, I think I made a mistake here. It is not 16 verses, it's about 25 verses. In this, what happens is self is not pratyaksham or paroksham, but it is aparoksham. These are 3 technical words. Pratyaksha means what is in front of our sense organs. In front of me, there is a mobile phone, there is a mic, there is a mouse, there is a laptop. Similarly, in front of you, there are many things. You can see them, you can hear them, you can smell them, you can touch them. That is what is called as pratyaksham, object of our sense organs which are near us. What is paroksham? If you are listening to this talk from India, Singapore is paroksham for you. Suppose you are sitting in Singapore and listening to this talk, India is paroksham for you. Okay? If you have understood pratyaksham and paroksham, then Vidyaranya says there is a third element which is called as aparoksham. What is the definition of aparoksham? Very simple definition. It is not pratyaksham. It is not seen, perceived by the sense organs. One part of definition of aparoksham. Second part of the definition of aparoksham is what? It is not paroksham. It is neither pratyaksham, it is neither paroksham. It is neither for, it is neither in front of the sense organs, but it is aparoksham. Aparoksham means it is me, myself. I. When I say I, it means subject. It is not an object of the sense organs. It is not in front of the sense organs, neither it is away from sense organs, but it is me, myself. That me is the self, which you realize when you drop all the 5 koshas, you realize that this is me. Step by step, you have to go from a grosser level That means I go from Annamaya Kosha, then I go to Pranamaya Kosha. Beyond the Pranamaya Kosha, more subtler is the mind, which is Manomaya Kosha. Beyond this mind is the intellect, and beyond the intellect is the Anandamaya Kosha, which is a reflection of happiness in the intellect. What is the third section? 37 to 43. Brahman, or the self, is called as Chaitanyam, and it is in association with Shakti. What Shakti? Maya Shakti. What is this Maya Shakti? It is called as the Upadhi. Upadhi means it is the medium of transaction. And what are the Upadhis? It is Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara. These are all the three Upadhis for that pure consciousness to express itself. Pure consciousness by itself cannot declare, I am conscious. It cannot say. So don't make the mistake of trying to know that consciousness by itself and say, I am conscious and I am being conscious of myself. Don't try to then you're trying to objectify that consciousness. Okay, so the best way is to say, I am that consciousness, and put a full stop. Never try to objectify consciousness if you want to know your true self. All of us are studying, coming to these classes only to understand, is there something which I don't know about myself? If I'm not a male or a female, male, female belongs to the body, fair, dark belongs to the body, intellect has got anger, passion. These are all attributes of the intellect. But who am I? I am the Chaitanyam principle. Chapter 1 and 3 are very technical in nature. This third chapter, which we are going through, is slightly technical, okay? Because of the 5 koshas. Similarly, when we do the chapter 1 also, you will understand it's very technical. The technical terms are required to understand the entire creation and remove the mula avidya, which is the ignorance in our intellect. We all are suffering from one obstacle, all of us. What is that obstacle? I don't know myself. When each one of us says this, what is expressing is the avarna shakti of Maya. It is covering my nature. It is telling me again and again, body is me, body is me, body is me. What is Upanishad telling me? Body is not me. What is me? Consciousness. Eternally you're there. You don't die. As consciousness, you don't have death. As consciousness, you don't have birth. That is the lesson. And that lesson will come when my avidya goes away about myself. Eliminates this knowledge. Brahma Vidya clearly eliminates this avidya. That is the beauty of this study of Veda. Does it happen? Yes, it happens. Our whole Guru Parampara is a proof that Veda works. For millions of years, the Veda has been studied. People have become free of sorrow. Only one method, study the Veda. So this chapter helps us to go deeper into our brain structure by analyzing that I am not even the mind. Okay? Another presentation of these 43 verses is how each kosha, in which verse the koshas are explained, and what are the important verses of this chapter I have mentioned here. The 33rd verse of this chapter is the most important. If you can know that verse, understand that verse, you are a jnani. So verse number 1 and 2 give introduction to the 5 koshas. Verse number 3 and 4, they talk about Annamaya kosha, the first gross level kosha. Then verse number 5 talks about the Pranamaya kosha. Then verse 6 talks about the Manomaya. 7 to 9 is the Vijnanamaya. Anandamaya is verse number 10. And the entire knowledge about self, Brahman, Brahma Vidya comes from 13 to 20. Mainly the Jnanam portion. You see, Atma, you can define it as Jnanam, which is consciousness. You can define it as Satyam, which is existence. Or you can define it as Anantam, which means it's beyond time. That is called as Anantam Brahman. So Satyam Jnanam Brahma and Satyam, which is this chapter is totally designed exactly a copy of Taittiriya Upanishad. So if you study Taittiriya Upanishad, then you study this, you will go deeper into the study of Taittiriya Upanishad by studying this Panchadasi chapter 3. And 38 to 40 explains what is this Maya. Who is this? What is this Shakti called Maya? And then it says that consciousness, which is an association with this Shakti, is this Ishvara. If that Shakti knows itself as that Ishvara, Paramatma, you are called as Jnani. You have Vidya. Suppose you don't know, the same Shakti, same consciousness with Avidya is called as Jiva. See the difference between Jiva and Ishvara. Ishvara also is there right now in front of us. It is only Ishvara. It is the body of Ishvara, is this entire cosmos. This body which I see, individual body, is the Jiva's body. The cosmos, including planets, sun, the whole, whatever you can't see. It's infinite. Very beautiful chapter, and all the important verses are quoted here. Next, we did chapter 4. Dvaita Viveka Prakaranam. Dvaita Viveka Prakaranam means it is duality. What is this duality? 7 topics are there. Verse number 1 gives the introduction of Jiva Dvaitam and Ishvara Dvaitam. Most of the people who are listening now, they're all smiling because they have understood this chapter so beautifully when I did this. Jiva Srishti, Ishvara Srishti. Now you know what is this chapter 4. So there is Dvaitam experience whenever there is waking state or in the dream state. Verse number 2 to 13 talks about Ishvara Dvaitam. What is the duality created by Ishvara? Creation of Jiva, Jagat is Ishvara Dvaitam. All the Jivas are created by Ishvara, body is created. So when the body is created, it is Ishvara's creation. So who is the creation of this whole world? Ishvara. What is he creating this for? Because of the law of prarabdha karma. Okay. 14 to 31 is this Jiva Dvaitam. What is the Jiva Dvaitam? It is the creation of Dvaitam by the individuals through their mind. Because of the vasanas, the causal body, and the prarabdha karma, which is sanchita karma, prarabdha karma, agami karma, which is responsible for Jiva Dvaitam. So throughout the day, what do? We are only creating thoughts after thoughts after thoughts, and we are experiencing the thoughts of the world, and we are creating our own thoughts internally. Our own thoughts, when they are created out of our vasanas. And these vasanas, they spring up every day for all of us, and they give us our own unique experience of joy or sorrow. The circumstances will be different for each one of us because the play of the law of karma is very varied. That is the beauty of this creation. Each one's sorrow is different, each one's joy is different. At the end of the day, if you analyze your whole day, there will be only two things which would have happened to you. You would have said, I was very happy, or you would have said, I was sad today. Or I was sad and happy mixture was there today. That's all. That is Jiva Dvaita. This is a very beautiful chapter. I mean, it helps us to clear a lot of concepts about our own self. And it gives us clarity of our own mind, which is the cause of Dvaita. Verse number 32 to 37 is this Jiva Dvaita Bandha Karana. Bandha means we are all bound to this body. All of us. We feel that I am bound to this body. I wake up only in this body, not in another body. I wake up only with this particular mind, not with another mind. So we are all bound to the body and mind. Who is that Jiva? The Jiva is identified with this body and mind. What the Upanishad teaches is drop this identification, identify with the consciousness in the body, the Sakshi in the body, and be free. It's a very simple technique. If you understand it correctly, Vedanta is very simple. Very, very simple. You can just abide in your true nature all the time. If you understand it, that I am pure consciousness, awareness. The central theme, Brahmanyanena Jiva Dvaita Nivritti, is explained from 38 to 66. The bulk portion of this is this portion, where Mala Vikshepa Nivritti takes place. See, all of us have got a Vikshepa Shakti in our mind. How to get rid of this Vikshepa, this constant, association with the world? That is what is called as the Vikshepa Shakti. Constantly projecting thoughts inside. How to get rid of this? There are 5 methods which are taught here. Viveka, Pratyaksha Bhavana, Prarthana, Sankalpaha, Satsangaha. These are the 5 methods by which the projections in your mind, which are the ultimate cause of sorrow experienced by us, how they can be reduced, is explained in this lovely chapter, and it is from 38 to 66 of the 4th chapter. The last the second last section, the 6th section, is 67 to 68. That is the Jivan Mukti is the Phalam. What is Jivan Mukti? Jivan Mukti is very simple. I still continue to live, but I don't identify the body and mind as me. I identify consciousness is me. It never changes. It doesn't have birth. It doesn't have death. Revise Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse number 12 to 30. If you understand those verses clearly, Najate, Mriyate va Kadachit, and all those verses, you have understood this pure Sakshi, pure Chaitanyam as our real nature. And once you identify with this as yourself, then there is nothing will affect you. Let the body go on to any type of condition. Don't get affected because it's not you. It is only a medium of transaction, that's all. Mind also. If your mind has played tantrums on you and you got deluded and you were suffering in a circle, going on in circle for 2, 3 months, 6 months, don't worry. Come out of it. And what will make you come out of this is Brahma Vidya. It alone is the solution for Jivan Mukti. The last verse, 69th verse, is the concluding verse. Know the cause, the nature and consequence of each malam and the values which will help you to purify your mind. See, the cause is Ajnanam of Atma. What is the nature of this cause? The nature of this Ajnanam is it gives us, it leads to Kama. Avidya leads to Kama, Kama leads to Karma. That is what is called as the samsara cycle. Okay, next is chapter 5. I will skip this because I have done this revision last week. Mahavakya Viveka, I will quickly take maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes just to tell you, but I won't go into the depth because time is a little short today. And I want to go a little bit on the website if possible. Okay, so this I have covered just recently, the last chapter. It covers 4 Mahavakyams. 1 Mahavakyam from each Veda was taken up. Verse 1 and 2 is from Aitareya Upanishad, Prajnanam Brahma. It is Rig Veda, from Rig Veda. The reference number is given. It is called as Lakshana Vakyam. Okay, what is this consciousness? That consciousness is the nature of Atma. Next Mahavakyam is taken up in verse number 3 and 4. It is from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Aham Brahma Asmi. It's called Anusandhana Vakyam. You meditate on this Brahman as me. Then the third Mahavakyam we analyzed was Samaveda Chandogya Upanishad Tattvamasi. And the last one is Atharvana Veda Mandukya Upanishad, I am Atma Brahma. This comes both in Mandukya as well as Brihadaranyaka Upanishad in Madhu Brahmana. So, what is the central theme of all these Mahavakyams? It only tells me that the Jiva, the Chidabhasa, realizes that it is not the Jiva which is with the body, with the medium. It is not Sopadika Atma with Upadhi of body and mind, but it is Nirupadika Atma, which is Nirguna, pure Atma. Keep these 2 words in mind, understand the significance of Sopadika Atma, Nirupadika Atma. Atma can be expressed as without the medium. It is called as pure consciousness, Chit. What about Chidabhasa, which is the Jiva Jagat Ishvara portion? Chidabhasa is the lower nature. It is a medium. It is happening. Like the dream comes and goes, similarly, the waking also comes and goes. What is the higher nature? Atma. Always remember, there is a difference between Paramarthika Satyam, which is Atma, and Vyavaharika Satyam, which is waking, dream, and sleep. The Chidabhasa itself is the Chit. Very important point. Shankaracharya's commentary brings out this point in Kena Upanishad. Chidabhasa itself is Chit. Don't try to experience the Chit separately and the Chidabhasa separately. You will never be able to succeed. This is one of the tricks in meditation. Okay, with this, I will conclude today's talk, and I will take up the future classes of chapter 1. What does it contain, and what does it what is chapter 2? I will take it up in future, and because time is up today, and I will try to. Okay, so that is the end of Panchadasi revision. Okay, whatever we have covered, the 4 chapters, I have, in about 1 hour, I have covered all the 4 chapters. A very beautiful summary was given to you. I have circulated the tree diagram by WhatsApp. If you have not received it, let me know by email, then whatever it is, I will send you the tree diagram, whatever I have described today. Okay. Now I'm going to see whether I'm able to connect to the Vedanta students website. So Shanmugam is helping me with the website, and he is going to click on the website. Now, this is an introduction to the Vedanta students website. Okay, so what I'm now going to discuss with you in the next 10 minutes or 15 minutes, 10 minutes maybe, is we have a website. Some of you may be aware of it, some may not be aware of this. The website is basically, it is www.vedantastudents.com. Now, when you open the page, this is what you will see. And what are the different sections which are there is mentioned. There is a home page. Some details are about us are given. The classes, the class notes, class videos. I will go through each one of them now. First is the join our current classes. Now, current class details are mentioned here. Next week onwards, this will not be mentioned because I'm going to take a break. The next class will be on the 21st of June. For the Wednesday class, we will not be having a class for the next 5 weeks. So today is the 10th of May. Till the 21st of June, there will not be any classes on Wednesdays. And similarly on Saturdays also. Because I'm traveling on Monday. Next Monday, I'm traveling, and therefore I won't be able to take the classes for a short time. Now here, these two, in the front of the page itself, all the timings of the classes are given. Then, if you want to register, you can click here and register. That all of you know. I won't go into the details. Very soon, we are going to start the Bhagavad Gita chanting classes by Padmini Chandrasekhar. Now, we have already finished 1 round of chanting. A lot of students were there who learned the Bhagavad Gita. One full session of 18 chapters chanting was done last year and the previous year. Now, the second batch is going to start soon. If you're interested, there will be 2 types of batches. One will be for children, which will be starting first, maybe around the 21st of May. But details you will get if you register. So if you want to register your children for learning how to chant the Bhagavad Gita, then verse by verse we'll teach you. It is children from 5 to 14 will be in one batch, and most of the classes will be on either WhatsApp. If the number of students are not many, it will be on WhatsApp or in Zoom, one of the two. The details will be announced later. If you're interested, you can click and then you can register. Then this is the home page. Okay, this we have seen about us, that we don't have to, that about us a little bit details who we are and what we are trying to study is there. Then comes the classes, Panchadasi by Swami Vidyaranya, Anubhuti Prakasha, and so on. What are the different types of classes we take? Upanishads, Panchadasi, different levels are shown there. Then a very important section is this class notes. The whole of Vedanta student is extremely popular because of class notes. These class notes are brilliant in the sense that some of you might find that these are very good for just revision For learning, for different types, the notes can be used. The summary of the texts, there is one which talks about the summary of all the texts. You know, that is the first section which you find. Then Bhagavad Gita, the notes are all divided into different sections. The sections are all mentioned on the left-hand side. I will open up a couple of them, but the summary of all text, that means if you want to study the summary, a lot of people come back and tell me, I love the summary of your different texts, because in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I want to recap. So the summary is useful, very useful for recap. 108 Upanishads, there is some summary is also there. If you're interested, you can go into the details. Then Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita has got different types of class notes. What I always tell, there are different types of notes. Okay, if you want to know summary of each chapter, then you can go through these notes. Each chapter, about 10-15 pages of each chapter. 406 pages, the entire 18 chapters are covered. If you want to know briefly what those 18 chapters are, that is one type of Bhagavad Gita notes. The second type of notes is a verse-wise class notes. Okay, all the verses are taken up. There are 2,000 pages in this, and it's verse-wise. Then Bhashyam. Now, some Bhashyam notes are available, which I wrote for some of the chapters which are important. Chapter 10, 11, 12, 13, these 4 chapters, Shankara Bhashyam of the Gita commentary is there. 1,000 pages of notes are available there. Then there are short notes on the Gita. Each chapter, suppose you want to have a short note, not just a summary, but short notes. That is also available in another format. What is most popular for newcomers who want to learn Bhagavad Gita? And there are many students across the world who are doing this Bhagavad Gita through the Vedanta students website is Master Gita, Master Life course. Now this course has 3,800 pages. Every chapter is discussed in detail. Very, very beautiful section. If you want to learn the Gita, this is the section you should go to. But it requires time. Then there are other notes connected which are there below. But the main gist of this Bhagavad Gita notes is this portion. Then there is all types of notes are there on all these topics. Minor Upanishads. There are about 11 Upanishads I have covered. Minor Upanishad notes are available. Okay, Atma Bodha, 400 pages on Atma Bodha, verse wise it is there. Tattva Bodha is very famous. Almost, we have thousands of students who have gone through these notes, 185 pages. Because this is what I recommend to every newcomer. I say Tattva Bodha first. Tattva Bodha first. Then Atma Bodha, then Bhagavad Gita, then Upanishad, and then comes the final Brahma Sutra. Atma Bodha, there is Atma Bodha, Tattva Bodha, then Atma Bodha, I told you, 400 pages are there. Then Shruti Sara Samudranam. This is an advanced text. For those people who feel that they have not really got the benefit out of studying the Bhagavad Gita or Upanishads, they should learn some higher texts, which will open up their minds out of the obstacles they are facing. See, many times we don't understand why we are not able to get the details. So that there are 3 texts I will explain to you as we go by. So one text is Shruti Sara Samudranam, very advanced text. And the other text, which is very advanced text, is Adhyasa Bhashyam, is also an advanced text. Then, okay, let me go through. See, the thing is that all these notes are so much of these notes of different texts are there. Saddarshanam, Panchadasi, Vedanta Dindima, Upadesha Sahasri, Dakshinamurti Stotram, Dritishya Viveka. These are all different texts. All these texts have got notes in them, and Aham Brahmasmi, there are some notes on them. So whatever you are interested in, you can probably go through them. And it's tons and tons of notes are on different Vedantic topics. Yeah. The three main texts which I always recommend for higher students is Vichara Sagara, Naishkarmya Siddhi, and Shruti Sara Samudra. These are the three higher level texts for advanced students. Class videos, all of you know, these are all the class videos which is available in the website. You can go through them. Along the class notes, there are also notes which I have used in the classes. And Bhagavad Gita is there. So all these notes have already been circulated to all of you. In case you are interested, I will send you a link, Zoom link, not a Zoom link, Google link, where you can see all these class notes in one shot. Then there is a suggested course for study. What is the level 1? Tattva Bodha, Atma Bodha, Vivek Chodamani, Bhaja Govinda. Level 2 primarily is Master Gita, Master Life. Then you can study the Bhashyams, Upadesha Sara, Saddarshanam, Panchadasi. Level 3 is Dakshinamurti Stotram, then Mundaka Upanishad, all the Upanishads are there. And for all this, there is notes. You can see, for all these, there is notes. Level 4 is Brahma Sutra, 5,600 pages. Brahma Sutra, the whole Brahma Sutra, verse-wise, Adhikaranam-wise, you have the almost 5,600 pages. Then Naishkarmya Siddhi, 4,000 pages. Vichara Sagara, 6,000 pages. I'm still writing notes of Vichara Sagara because the text is still not over. I'm in the last chapter. Then Vedanta, other texts which are there, these are other notes. Totally 50,000 pages of notes are there. Vedanta students is mainly famous for this content of the notes. And I mean, people from all types of walks, teachers have used these notes for their teaching. I get all types of emails from different participants across the world. Then we are circulating through WhatsApp some videos. Now that is also, if you don't get it daily, you can get it here in these broadcast videos. We have 676 videos which we broadcast throughout the year on WhatsApp. They're all here. If you want to go through them, you can go through them. These are all important mantras or different Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, other texts. Okay, that's on WhatsApp video. Then latest uploads is all the uploads which we make. According to date wise, you will find what are the uploads we have done. Right from 2019 onwards till date, for the last 5-6 years, you see all types of uploads. Shlokas. Shlokas are some of the shlokas. Suppose you want Bhagavad Gita shlokas, it is there, 701 verses. All the shlokas are there. You can download it, you can print it, you can use it. Similarly, Upanishadic mantras, 1,800 mantras are here. Panchadasi mantras, 1,142 verses are here. Then miscellaneous verses, totally about 5,500 mantras are mentioned. Miscellaneous mantras are Pratha Smaranam, Advaita Panchakam, Sadhana Panchakam, so many texts are there. You can go through this. 2,200 verses are there. Articles are not much, just a few articles are there. Then useful links is a very, very beautiful section which we have. So many different references are given here of different websites where you can get so much of information. Audio links are there, book links are there, chanting links are there, divine quotes are there. Divine quotes means we have a divine quotes, we have in WhatsApp. So different quotes from Ramana Maharishi, Nisargadatta Maharaj, Eckhart Tolle, all these quotes are there. If you are interested, you can go through them. It's all here. Almost 5,000 quotes are here. Learn to chant. I've already told you what is that Gita chanting. And the last one is here. Vijay Khosla has Vijaya has chanted so many verses. All her verse chantings are also here. So this is in short what is our website. We get a lot of hits on the website daily, and I just thought it will be a short description about our website. If you want to learn a little bit more, or if you want to help in promoting this website to others, you can get in touch with us. If there are any shortfalls, if you have any suggestions, if you can market them, if you can find out ways and means of promoting the website to many people across the globe, please help us in promoting the website. It's a very useful site for seekers. Primarily for seekers, we find generally people Google on Vedanta and they first come to our website. That is what we have heard from our seekers. With this, I will close the website discussion for today. The time is up, already 7:46, so I won't take the meditation session. I will close the. We will do this meditation when we come back on the 21st of June. I had this, but then on 21st, I will take this meditation, a very beautiful meditation. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamathaya Purnameva Vasishyade Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. If you have any questions, you can. I'll go through the chat. If there is anything, you can type your questions on the chat. Otherwise, you can speak. Shanmugam will unmute everybody. Hari Om. Okay, thanks for the revision. Hari Om Shekhari. That's okay. There's no major thing in the chat box. If you have any questions, you can ask them. You can just, all of you will be on unmute now, and you can just unmute yourself and ask the question.
Yes, sir. Vishal, yes, sir.
Yeah, Vishal, go ahead.
So my question is with Sat Chit Anand.
Yes.
And so we are, we are told that another name for the Brahma is Sat Chit Anand.
That's correct.
That's the attribute.
Yes. Yes.
Now I have we also call it existence, consciousness, bliss. Another interpretation of Sat Chit Anand.
Yeah.
So my query was specifically with the word Anand.
Yes.
Because the Brahma does not have any attribute.
Correct.
So how can we say that Anand is the attribute of the Brahma? So my understanding was, and correct me if I'm wrong, because my understanding was that attribute of bliss, Anand, may be the attribute of the Jeev, in the sense that when the Jeev understands the Sat, which is the truth, that the Sat is the Chit, which is consciousness, then maybe he experiences Anand. That was my understanding. But the thing was that how come Anand, which is an attribute, be associated with Brahm? Because Brahm is attributeless, it has no attributes. And if there was Anand, then there would be the opposite also of it in duality. So thoda Anand word pe mere ko thoda sa sir samajh mein nahi aa raha tha.
Okay. All right. It's a good question. It's a very, very beautiful question. The answer is basically in Taittiriya Upanishad. I'll be taking Taittiriya Upanishad on Saturday classes. Starting on 24th of June, I'll be starting Taittiriya Upanishad for a detailed study. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, these are three technical words, and you should know a full meaning of them. If I explain to you in short, it will not serve the purpose. My suggestion is, please wait until the 24th of June. I will be explaining in very big detail the three words Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. Now, even though asking you to come, I want to give you some information which you will find useful. Little bit. Anantam, first of all, there are two parts to your question. One is, if Brahman is attributeless, yes, why are we giving an attribute of Ananda to Brahman?
Yeah, perfect, sir. Absolutely right, sir.
Okay.
This is my question.
So yes, that question is like this. You see, the Upanishad understands that the problem of seekers. The problem of seekers is what? That they are all suffering from samsara. The seeker says that I'm suffering sorrow throughout my life. Is there a way out to come out of my sorrow? Now, in order to address the seekers, Upanishad is trying to take a student from the Vyavaharika level to a higher level.
Yes.
And the basic objective of this is that the objective of Upanishad is to get rid of sorrow for the seeker.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
So it is trying to say there is something higher, which is Ananda Swarupa. There is something higher, which is Ananda Swarupa. It is not an attribute, but it is the nature. There is a difference between attribute and
nature versus nature. Okay.
Correct.
Yes, sir. Please.
So it is not the heat of the fire is not the attribute of fire.
It is the nature of fire.
It is the nature of fire. Whereas the blue color of a lily or a blue color of the cloth, that is the property. It is the attribute of a cloth. See, there is a difference between something which is incidental and something which is nature.
Okay.
This difference you should understand when you are talking about Brahman having the attribute. No, it is not an attribute of Brahman. It is nature of Brahman.
Okay. Okay. So the Brahman's nature is that of Anand. It's not an attribute.
Its nature is Anand. Right. It is not an attribute of Brahman. You see, that is what is. You see, it is not something which is. Attribute means it is a property. The substance will have property. You know, when you say attribute, it is basically a property belonging to a particular substance.
A property, quality or attribute. Quality.
Correct. So nature of Brahman, the consciousness, when you say, it is not an attribute. It is the nature.
Right. Understood. It is the nature. Just the way heat and light is the nature of fire. Heat and light is the nature of fire.
See, it is not a property of fire. It is not an attribute of fire.
Yes.
So you cannot separate it.
You can't separate it. You can't have separately consciousness separately and Brahman separately. You can't have happiness separately and Brahman separately.
Okay.
They are all together all the time.
While an attribute can be separated in the sense, I'm just trying to see.
Correct. The attribute is an incidental property.
Right. It can be
Okay.
blue, it can be green, it can be any color.
A lily can be white lily, it can be red lily, it can
Blue
be
lily.
correct.
Yeah.
It can be blue lily, it can be yellow lily, it can be any lily.
So
So it is-
properties can be various properties.
Yes.
There can be many, while the nature is
Property
one,
can be
cannot be.
taken- Yes, it can be lost also. Like the water, it is heat in the water is what? It is incidental.
It is a property.
It is a property
But the
of
wetness,
water.
but the wetness is inherent. Wetness is the nature.
That is right. Wetness is the nature. Heat
Yes.
is a borrowed.
Heat and cold both in the water
Yes.
is the thing.
Yeah. So basically, you should understand it is nature. Brahman's nature is Satyam. It is pure existence. And it is consciousness. And it is happiness, or it is actually. So this aspect is it clear?
Absolutely, sir. I love you for this. I mean, this was eating me up.
Okay.
For many months.
Yeah. Okay, when you come to Taittiriya Upanishad,
Yes,
the
sir.
word Anantam has got another meaning, and that meaning is Anantam means it is beyond time and beyond space. Okay, that is the meaning of Anantam.
Not bound by.
It is beyond time. That means there is nothing else which is beyond time except this Brahman.
So it is beyond time, space, and causality.
Yes. There is only one thing, and that is you, the consciousness. If I say that I am beyond time, which means what? I am indirectly saying I was never born.
Amar
Body is
Anant Asim.
born. Body is
Amar.
born.
Yes.
Body will die. Body is finite. Ananta means infinite. Infinite means no birth, no death. It is always there.
Anant Amar Asim.
Yes, it is immortal, eternal. These are all different words for Ananta.
Right, sir.
Okay, thank you, Vishal. Anybody else has any other remark? Any other questions?
Shekharji, are you coming to Delhi by any chance?
No, I'm going to Los Angeles. I'm going to the US.
Okay.
So I'm for 1 month. I'll be in the US. I'll be in the West Coast.
Let's go.
I'll be in Los Angeles and San Francisco and Seattle.
Okay, that's completely.
Then one more question. Brahma plus Maya is equal to Ishwar. Brahma plus Maya plus Avidya is equal to Jiva.
That's correct. You got it. That small difference you should note.
So that means the Ishwara is with Vidya. That means the Ishwara knows the Brahma.
Correct. Yes.
While the Jiva, because of Avidya, does not know the Brahma. Right?
That's correct. Yes. That Maya has got two Shaktis. Avarna Shakti and Vikshepa Shakti.
Right.
Jiva has both. Ishvara has no Avarna Shakti. Ishvara has Vikshepa Shakti to project this world in Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. Jiva has got one additional problem, which is the most difficult obstacle for all of us. That is, it covers. This Maya Shakti covers our nature.
Does not know itself.
Huh?
Does not know its own nature.
Number one is the veiling, and number two is projection.
Yes.
So we are saying that the Ishwara projects, but does not veiled because the Ishwara knows the Brahma.
Yes. Correct.
While the Jiva has both the problems. He because of veiling, he does not know the Brahma. Plus, he is in the projection part also. So Avidya is there because of the projection.
Correct.
So both the problems he's suffering,
So,
Jiva, but Ishwara suffering only one issue.
Exactly. So how should you come out of this samsara? You should come out of samsara purely by only understanding. Very important.
Oh, I'm
Only
so busy doing
understanding.
your this thing now. Which one I have to do for your?
See, what is
Good
understanding? The understanding is Aham Brahmasmi. I am the pure consciousness.
Right.
Full stop. There is no comma. I am Aham Brahma Asmi. What about the body and the mind, which I see in the waking state? It disappears in the sleep state. That is what is called as Maya. If you have, that means during the class right now, if you have understood that I am pure Chaitanyam, I am repeating this again.
Sakshi Chaitanya.
I am Sakshi Chaitanyam. I am not the body or the mind. Body and mind are coming and going in consciousness. Consciousness is ever there. One more small point, pick it up. In the sleep state, I am there as consciousness, but body and mind are not there. Therefore, Upanishad tells me that I am eternal. As consciousness, I am eternal. I don't have, I'm not affected by time.
Right.
All of us right now, you can realize it. You just have to close your eyes and say, Aham Nitya Chaitanyam Asmi. Nitya Chaitanyam, Nirvikara Chaitanyam. I'm changeless. Changeless means what? Whether waking comes, whether dream comes, whether sleep state comes, I am conscious, I am conscious, I am conscious. In the sleep state, what happens? I don't experience the body, mind, and the world.
Right.
It is a simple identification which I have to drop.
Right.
Vedanta says only drop your identification, nothing else. Kuch nahi hai.
Right.
Apart from identification to the body and mind, isko drop karo. Isko just nikal do. You take it out from your mind and body and say, I am pure.
Right.
What is the meaning of pure? Sakshi. Sakshi means what? But can that Sakshi know itself? No. To know itself, it needs a body and mind. Body and mind is only a manifesting media to know that consciousness. But to know that consciousness, why can't that consciousness know itself as itself? This is an question asked by Shankaracharya in Keno Upanishad Bhashyam in the commentary.
Right.
Seeing this lovely question.
Yeah. Why can't the consciousness know itself?
Is the consciousness ko pata hona chahiye. It should
Because
know
of it,
that,
because it's Advait, there's no duality. So there is only oneness. In oneness, you can't know the other.
Yes.
So the
There is
consciousness is
only
experiencing
Advaita.
itself. So therefore, it's experiencing itself through this appearance of duality.
Correct.
And using the mind and the body to experience a very, very small, limited manifestation of the unmanifested.
Exactly. Now you got it. Your knowledge is really good. Now you're getting what is manifestation, unmanifestation. If you can understand the process of manifestation, unmanifestation, and that you are changeless consciousness, you have understood Vedanta here and now.
So how do we then discover? How do we discover the Sakshi Chaitanya? Do we relax into it because it's not an object? Since it's not an object, we can't see it, we can't feel it with our senses. So how do we discover it? Is it a discovery? Is it a self-realization? Is it a relaxing into it? Because we can't make an effort. We can't make an effort because there's no object.
That's
we can't
correct.
make an effort.
That is why we say self-realization. Realization means what? You were conscious, you are conscious, you will be conscious, but you didn't know that before.
Okay.
It is only Ajnanam is gone.
Okay.
Just to say, I am that consciousness, that's all. You don't have to do anything else. There is no change in experience at all.
Right.
You will
There is
still,
no, yes, there is no
What
halo
is
which
it?
is going to come. There is no
Nothing,
thunder which is going to,
nothing.
nothing.
That is correct.
It is just a small, a very, very subtle realization, after which you will go and have a cup of coffee and smile. That's it.
That's correct. You need
Sir,
not smile.
Sir, I have a
knowing
question, sir.
it's like knowing the 10th man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
knowing the 10th man. But only a
Yes.
smile will come at the most that you realized it. That's
Correct.
it.
You have realized it. That's all.
Yeah.
You
That's
see,
it. And fear will disappear. Fear of all the things will disappear, because now that you
Sir, but-
realize that you're unchanged, the changeless, and you
So
can't
once-
die.
correct.
Sir,
Yeah.
this realization has to be through mind only, right?
Yes.
Okay, another good question. Another very good question. You see, these are all very deep questions of Vedanta.
Superb, superb.
Okay, the realization is always with the mind. It can never happen without the mind. That is
But sir,
why
I thought dropping a mind, no, sir.
no,
You
no.
said drop of
Sir,
mind.
if I can ask, if I
No,
ask
we-
a question, just to rephrase it without offending someone. So let's take a child who is spastic, whose mind is not developed. We see children people who are spastic, whose mind does not function. Does that mean that they'll never be able to realize?
No. Okay, so again, these are all questions related to the Vyavahara stage. What is you should understand is, okay, the child is not able to understand. It is only in this birth. It is not that he will not understand in the next birth, or he was not in the last birth or the previous birth. You see, what happens is, mind is a continuously developing entity.
And birth after birth it is going. Because
But
the
mind, sir, mind is an
Manomaya kosh
object,
is
sir.
going.
It's a physical
Manomaya
thing. Mind
kosh is
is
going
not.
birth after birth.
No,
Sir,
Vishal,
isn't mind
Vishal, please don't disturb. Turiya,
Yes,
Turiya is asking this question. Let him complete.
Sir, isn't mind an object? Mind is not something which is, mind is a physical made up of atoms and all. I mean, biological cell. Mind is something of an object. It is not, of course, it is not Chaitanya or Brahma. It is not that thing. It is something physical. It is, object. And yet it is required to realize that. I mean, just.
See, the obstacle you're facing right now is how to drop my mind as an object. The only way to drop the mind as an object is discover the subject, I. Discover the subject, Sakshi. Mind, okay, please understand these two statements. These two statements I'm making now are very subtle, and it is explained by Shankaracharya brilliantly in the Keno Upanishad Bhashyam. Number one, statement number one. Sakshi illumines the mind. Sakshi illumines the mind. Statement number two. Mind manifests Sakshi. Mind manifests Sakshi. Take the example of moonlight, sunlight. Sunlight illumines the moon. Moon manifests sunlight. Moon is important to manifest sunlight. Sun is important to illumine the moon. Sakshi is important to illumine the mind. To know that the existence of the mind, without the Sakshi, you can't. There is no other light which can illumine the mind. Mind is important. For what? To know that Sakshi exists. To manifest Sakshi, mind manifests Sakshi, mind manifests Chaitanyam. Therefore, mind and consciousness are mutually interconnected. Mutually interconnected. Without one, the other cannot exist. If you know only the mind, if you don't know Sakshi, that means your knowledge is incomplete. If you know Sakshi, but if you don't know mind, again, your knowledge is very limited. Okay?
Yes, sir. I will read some more because still it is not clear to me.
It took me a lot of time to understand this, but as we study the Upanishads, this particular topic will become more and more clear. In Taittiriya Upanishad, of course, that is a Saturday class. In Taittiriya Upanishad, if you don't come to Saturday classes, you can just get the videos of and just see it whenever you can. See, in Taittiriya Upanishad, the Shankaracharya negates each kosha. In the website, you will find my Taittiriya Bhashyam notes.
Okay, sir.
In the Taittiriya Bhashyam notes, you will find commentary of Shankaracharya, where he explains why the mind is not Atma. And he differentiates the difference between mind and Sakshi. So if you are very keen to know about it, you can go through the notes, you can go to the website. If you still don't find it, write to me, I will send it to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. I'll go through your notes and I'll get.
Chaitanya, can I just add to this what you have clarified?
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Yeah. So during the Bhagavad Gita, like when we have discussed earlier and all, Chinmaya Swamiji gave a very clear clarification. Light can be revealed only when there is a interception of an object. When, suppose if you want to see the book, that book can be seen only when that light reflects on that. So it is the book which is intercepting the light. So that is the same concept, like sun light, when it is intercepted by moon, that is when it comes actually. So like that mind and the consciousness, what you are just trying to put it, this is the simple way to our day-to-day life. We see so many objects and all, but those objects are revealed only in presence of the light.
That's correct. You're right.
And
So
one small thing, the sun can exist without the moon, even though
Exactly.
they're interconnected, but the moon cannot exist without the sun, even though they're interconnected. So if I'm standing in front of a mirror, I am the sun, and I can stand on my own without the mirror as a reflection, but the reflection cannot stand without the original sun.
Oh, but duality, it's coming now. If we say that we need two to understand one, are we not deviating from Advaita? I mean, just if to understand light, we need an object to obstruct it, only then we'll be able to know it. Is it not going into the realm of dual? I mean,
yeah, see, this is where Turiya, what they say is object by itself is inert. It is in the light of consciousness the object is known. Without the light of consciousness, the object is not known. So consciousness is independently existing. It is non-dual. That is,
sir, I understand that, sir. What I'm saying is that consciousness is falling on a stone and consciousness is falling on a mind. So only a mind which is capable of understanding can understand that thing. And if the light is falling on a no mind thing,
that's
and a
correct.
mind thing.
Yes,
So,
you're right. Your understanding is
can
very
only
clear.
So mind thing can only understand this. Okay, there is no duality. It is the consciousness reflected everywhere. But still, it requires a mind to realize that.
100%. You are 100% right. Without the mind, there is no self-realization.
Okay.
In sleep, there is no self-realization.
But mind, since it would always try to create the wheel, once the mind have understood, again mind will try to create its importance and try to create the difference. Okay, there are two things, Jeev and Brahma are different. I mean, the realization happening that mind is not real, it is bathing in the light of consciousness. But I don't know, I mean, isn't it that the mind is needed and yet we are not able to discard the mind fully to be in that permanent state where mind does not, contradict, or every time mind is a barrier to realize that the consciousness is a light, and yet it is needed to understand that. I mean, this is a very, I'm stuck at this point, sir. I mean,
okay, this is where your knowledge of Satyam and Mithya must be clear. Satyam is the rope. Mithya is the snake, rope snake.
yes, sir.
Okay, so Satyam is Paramarthikam. It is always at a higher level. Mithya is always at a lower level. Mind is always at a lower level. Mithya means what? It appears, but it is not real. Satyam means what? It is always there. Eternally, changelessly, it is there. So I, the consciousness, am eternally always there. What about the mind and the body and the world? What is the definition of that? It is Mithya. Mithya means what? It appears, disappears. So I have to understand, I have two levels of existence. One level is Vyavaharika, at the transactional level. At that level, Atma and mind together are existing. There is another level in which I alone am there. That is, Atma alone exists. Because of the fact that Atma, consciousness, is Satyam. Satyam means it is eternally there, whereas Mithya is coming and going. Body experiences are coming and going. Consciousness experience is eternally, always, it is there. Changelessly, it is there. Understand this fundamental definition of consciousness. I am of the nature of consciousness, which is not changing consciousness. It is changeless consciousness. All the time, always come back to this definition of Atma. I am changeless consciousness.
But sir, I agree, sir. What my question is,
you see, your problem is the mind. You should understand mind is thought. Thought is appearing for a moment, flash. Again it goes away. Again it comes, again it goes away. And then what happens? There is a period of time when there are no thoughts for hours together. 8 hours you are sleeping, not a single thought is there, but you are there as consciousness. That consciousness in the sleep state is the same consciousness in the waking, without a change.
Can I give an example, sir? The thorn is required to remove a thorn. Mind is required to remove the mind.
Okay, that is.
no, sir, I understand, sir. I understand that. I'm understanding, sir. See, meditation, I can understand, is one way of freezing the mind so that it does not, play tricks on the.
See, no, you're understanding, Turiya, you're mixing too many concepts. There is no freezing of mind in meditation. You're not trying to freeze the mind. You're only trying to say it is mithya. That's all. You see, that you must understand the concept of Satyam and Mithya in Advaitam. If you have understood that, what you have to understand is the whole waking state is nothing but it is a adhyasa. It is only a superimposition on that pure consciousness. My suggestion is please read the Adhyasa Bhashyam of Shankaracharya. There's a lot of catching up you need to do so that your concepts become more clear.
No, sir, I understand. I mean, the more I know, I have an understanding problem, because the more I read, sometimes I think that I've understood, and then all over again the confusion starts.
Okay.
So as if I am starting from the zero. I mean, I understand fully, sir. I mean,
Okay.
that we have to tell ourselves that.
No, there are certain texts. You see, you may have done many texts. Have you done Adhyasa Bhashyam?
But very preliminary, sir. Adhyas Bhashyam, very preliminary, starting with Ashmad Yushmad Pratyayo, that's starting with that.
Oh, you're just starting that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, please go through the whole Bhashyam because it's extremely important to understand that, you know.
The superimposition only.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. It is only the mind that needs self-realization. Yeah, Neeta, you're right. It is the mind which is trying to understand the self. There is a difference between the mind and the self. The mind plus the self is me, the Neeta today. But Neeta is not only this me plus the mind, Neeta is also only the Atma or only the self. Then it is called as Atma. It is not called as Neeta. That Atma is the same for Ajita also. Ajita also is a name given to that body today. Ajita is also a name given to the mind. But the individual which you think that you are today is either that self is connected to the mind or self is connected to the body. What you have to realize is there is a self which is existing by itself, without the body and without the mind, which is what you are in your sleep state. And that is the real self. And that is the eternal self. It is a changeless self. It doesn't change in waking also. It doesn't change in this dream also. It remains the same all right from birth till death. It remains the same. That is what you are trying to understand, your own higher nature. The moment you understand I am a changeless consciousness, everything else is changing. Mind is changing every day, every minute, every second. Body also, the cells are changing. Every minute, the cells are changing in the body. Organs are changing. So, the doctors, they say within 7 years, all your cells have changed. So, in the anatma, which is not atma, it is always changing. It is either changing in the different states, 3 states, or in the gross body, subtle body, causal body, changes are happening, or it is happening in the 5 sheaths, you know. But in all this, there is a common substratum which never changes. Always tell yourself the best way to understand this consciousness is, I am a conscious being. Again and again, reassert that sentence in your own mind. What will happen? Suppose you say it 1,000 times. What the mind will say, automatically, whenever there are problems, it will remind itself, I am a conscious being. I am not the mind. The problem is only at the mind level. It is not at the Atma level. It is not at the consciousness level. There is, this consciousness has got no direct connection with the mind. Mind comes and goes. So you can imagine the whole state called as the dream state, sleep state is coming and going, right? So where is this coming and going? What is the locus for the waking state? What is the locus for the dream state? What is the locus for the sleep state? The rishis have said that the locus is consciousness. So always keep in mind that my point of reference should not be the body. Always think I'm conscious first, and then I'm aware of the body. I'm aware of my emotions. Okay? Very good. Thank you.
Is it that, sir, that mind has to be 24/7 reminded that I am? It is
Not
only
at all.
conscious.
No, you're jumping to too many conclusions. Mind need not be told every time, it's not like a parrot, that you keep on saying, I am consciousness. No, not at all. It is only in the initial stage, they say that learn to identify with Atma by disassociating with the mind. That's all. Initial stages.
Dissociation of mind with mind.
Yes. You have to associate with your, what you should think is, today the problem is, there is an I. In this body, there is an I. That I is married to this mind, or it is married to the body 24/7.
Yes, true.
Now you have to say, I have to separate this identification. And what you have to use the strength of the Upanishad.
Okay.
Upanishad is teaching me that there is Atma, there is I, which is the Atma, which is the consciousness. That consciousness is independently there. Don't use any other logic. Don't use your mind, intellectual knowledge, intellectual logic and all that. Forget, throw it out of the window. Only say, the Upanishad is telling me that this I, which is married to the mind or to the body, throughout my life, I've been living like that in sorrow. I have to learn to break that relationship. But by what strength can I break it? Because mind will keep laughing at me. Because mind will not allow me.
Yes, exactly.
It will not allow you to easily say, come on, you're not. It's like getting married to a wife, and wife will never allow that to divorce the husband. So it's not easy, but you have to use the strength of someone. And that someone is the Shruti.
Scriptures.
The scriptures. And what is the scripture saying? This I is always there. Whereas the mind is not there all the time. Realize this fact first. Realize this again and again in your own mind. Let the sleep state come. Ask the question, who was that Turiya Ravi at that time? Pure consciousness. Is that pure consciousness changing? Again, use the Shruti. Shruti will tell you, Upanishad will tell you that consciousness is not changing. But what is changing? Mind is changing. Yesterday, the mind was thinking about all the problems in your office. Today, the mind is thinking about all the problems with your relatives. Tomorrow, it will think about all the problems connected with the Russia war. Mind is changing. That is the nature of the mind. But you, the consciousness, which is illuminating that mind, is always the illuminator. It is never the illumined. Illuminator and the illumined have always to be different. The subject and the object can never be the same. Subject has to be the subject, ever the subject. Object is changing. There are a lot of clarity which comes when you do the Bhashya. Okay, I think it's quite some time.
Yes.
We'll close.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time.
And we'll meet on 21st of June on the Wednesday class.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good night.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.